doing well. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, the Black Business School. And I know that it's late, but I wanted to come in real quick to give you guys good news that I just saw that might help some of you that are looking for your stimulus check. The government is doing that stimulus thing, and they claim to be stimulating the economy with these $1,200 checks. It's become quite debatable as to whether or not it's actually going to make enough of a difference. So here's the situation. First of all, welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to theblackfinancialchannel.com and hit the thumbs up button on your way in and your way out, stuff like that. So basically, if you were curious about your whole situation with the stimulus check, a lot of you were worried that if you didn't file taxes in 2018 or 2019, you wouldn't get a stimulus check. Well, that's not true. That's not true. According to USA Today, they just put out a report that basically says that the Treasury, they did have the requirement that in order to get a stimulus check, that you had to file taxes. And now they're saying you did not have to. You could have not filed taxes in 2018 and 2019. They can still get you your money. According to the article here, it says that they were facing stiff criticism. And they said, quote, Social Security recipients who are not typically required to file a tax return need to take no action and will receive their payment directly to their bank account. That's what Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin just said in the statement. Most Americans won't have to do anything to receive a payment under the $2.2 trillion program designed to help the economic recovery from the fallout of the coronavirus pandemic. The checks will be sent automatically within the next 3 weeks to eligible Americans who filed tax returns in 2018 and 2019. But the IRS posted a notice on its website earlier saying this week that people who typically don't file taxes would need to file a simple tax return to receive one of the payments. That would have included low-income taxpayers, senior citizens, Social Security recipients, some veterans, and individuals with disabilities who are otherwise not required to file a tax return. Wednesday's announcement reverses that decision. So Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, says the IRS will now use the Social Security data to generate payments, and they're going to put the money directly into your bank account. I guess if you have a Social Security number and you meet the income requirements. I think that if you're doing too well, like I think if you make, I think it's $99,000 or something, you don't get any money. And honestly, just keeping it 100, you don't. I mean, not to say you can't use the stimulus check and you haven't hit hard times, but there are people that should get in front of you in line. So let's see here. Healthcare workers should get a stimulus check, says Sophia. I agree. I think healthcare workers, anybody on the front line, I think they should get hazard pay, battle pay, like what soldiers get when they go, into battle. I'm trying to figure out what's really going on, though. Honestly, I still don't. I'm taking in all this information about, infection rates, mortality rates, the demographics of the people that are dying. And I'm still, honestly, I mean, get mad at me, but I'm still not at a point where I feel like we're in a state of emergency. I think that we're at a state where we've got to be at full alert, without a doubt. I mean, without a doubt. But a state of emergency, I don't know. I think they had 1,000 people that died today, which is terrible. I mean, absolutely terrible. But just so you know, just so you can compare it to something, 7,000 people die every day in the United States just because. I think it's 7,000, or is it 7,000 per hour? Sorry, I think it's either 7,000 a day or 7,000 per hour. I can't remember which one it is. I got to double check. It might be 7,000 per day. Let's do per day. But either way, though, my point is to say that when I saw the mortality rate was 0.66%, that means about 1 in every 150 people that are infected will die. And most of those people are very old people. Now, of course, there are exceptions to every rule. So you might have a young person that has a pre-existing condition. So it doesn't mean that you don't watch out. But really, in general, there are a lot of viruses that could take you out if you have a weak immune system, or if you're a senior citizen, or if you have pre-existing conditions. So some of the people that died were people that were probably going to die soon regardless. But then there are people who, obviously were casualties of the virus. There's no question about it. So it's not to say that it's not real. It's just to say that, again, I reiterate to you that there are going to be far more deaths that occur. Hundreds of thousands of people will die if the unemployment rate goes too high and stays there. we're going to have depression level unemployment. It's going to go the estimates I saw were about 30%. At the height, just to give you a comparison, at the height of the Great Depression, the absolute worst year of the Great Depression, 1933, unemployment was 24%. So we're going to really see what is worse than the Great Depression, which if you go back and you study the Great Depression, you saw that poverty led to a lot of death. I mean, just basic stuff like the fact that desperate people who can't pay their bills, might go out and carjack you and murder you and take your money, or you talk about depression and suicide and opioid overdose when people are sitting around just getting high all day, so you're going to have some problems that come from that. And I tend to lean in the direction of saying that we can't let fear make our decisions for us, and we can't assume that there's a day where we're ever going to be 100% safe. I think that we're going to have to just accept the fact that the coronavirus is probably not going to go away. Just because the government says it's gone, that don't mean it's gone. Just because the media says it's gone, that don't mean it's gone. It'll still be out there. They just won't be talking about it. They'll just be talking about the Kardashians or something, and that'll get your attention off of it. But it's never going to go away. I mean, something like that, I don't see how you can just eradicate it to the point where nobody's infected, So that's my 2 cents on it. As far as the stock market goes, it was a really rough day for the stock market. The stock market got hammered pretty bad, and what the experts are doing now is they're all looking for the bottom. They're all trying to find the bottom. They're like, where's the bottom? Where's the bottom? There are a lot of indicators that we're close to the bottom. I tend to just buy the dips regardless. If you want to see exactly which stocks I'm buying, feel free to join my stock market investing program. I know I'll give you one, Texas Roadhouse. I bought some Texas Roadhouse, but there's about 15 or 20 other stocks that I've been buying. So if you want to go take a look, feel free. You can join the program. It's like a kind of a club. So you can feel free to join the club. The first month is $1. So if you have $1, then you can join for the first 30 days for $1, and then it goes to $89 a month, but it's a great program and you'll really like it. That's the blackstockmarketprogram.com, theblackstockmarketprogram.com. And then also tomorrow night for free, without, it's free charge, we're having Black Movie Night. And so, as you guys know, we're trying to build a Black Hollywood. We don't just, when I do movie reviews, like I was giving a review of the Madam C.J. Walker movie on Netflix, Self-Made, and some of the issues I saw with it. Well, I'm a person who doesn't just want to talk about it. I actually want to solve the problem. So we are going to we're going to solve the problem. We're building a Black Hollywood. So we've made distribution deals with Quayle TV. Quayle TV, KWELI. Quayle TV is kind of the Black Netflix, where they have, basically Black movies that they put on their platform. And I met the founder and I really liked her. So I said, I want this sister to do really well. So I've been basically talking about Quayle a lot, and we put our films on Quayle. And I'll answer that question in a minute, Sophia. And basically 2 of the films that we made that we put on there, Resurrecting Black Wall Street. We made that film because we felt that every Black child should know about the Black Wall Street Massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we did that. That was directed by Dorian Chandler. And another film we have out called The Black Love Blueprint. We put both of those on Quayle, and we just found out today that out of 700 films, these 2 films were ranked number 6 and number 7 for total viewership on Quayle TV. I think each of them were viewed a little less than 200,000 times in the last quarter. So what's happening is you're seeing the emergence of a new industry. You're seeing an emergence of something that was better than what Hollywood was when they first got started. Hollywood didn't have, the people that created Hollywood didn't have half the smarts we have. They didn't have half the resources we have. They didn't have half the population we have. So we've got everything we need to create our own Black Hollywood. So long story short, tomorrow night, we're doing Black Movie Night, which is April 2nd. If you're watching this on April 2nd at midnight, it's going to be pretty technically tonight, but Thursday, April 2nd, 8 p.m., we're all gathering together online to watch Raising a Black Scholar, which is another release from Boyce Watkins Films, directed by Tierra K.J. Williams. Do you have to have Zoom to watch it? No. I mean, to use Zoom, somebody just has to give you the link. If you have the registration link, you can just, hit the button and come in. It's going to be 8 p.m. You do have to sign up in order to be let in, but it doesn't cost you a penny. So you can register at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. So feel free to go check that out. And so if you guys ever want to know, I'd like to be really clear about certain things and transparent so you can kind of understand what the goal is here. I get a lot of pushback sometimes because we don't do every single thing here for free. that, that we don't offer everything free. And my response on that is very basic. First thing, you can't run a business on free. It's not possible. And if you do run a business on free, then that's when you should be suspicious of the business. Is, if we're running this business on free, where every single thing is free, and we're paying, we have a whole staff and all these facilities and all these resources, and it's totally free, then that should make you suspicious, because somebody's got to pay those bills. When I have all those Black people that work for me, and believe me, I paid millions of dollars to Black people to help them pay their bills, stuff like that. That's why I don't even pay attention when people out here screaming and hollering, well, Dr. Boyce, he did this to me, he did that to me. I don't pay attention to that, because I got to focus on the people I'm taking care of. So, usually they're just bitter people. They're mad maybe because I fired them or whatever, but I don't pay attention to that, because I'm trying to build something here. But basically, the people that we have to pay them with real money. You can't run a business on free. And also, to do these things, to build the Black Hollywood, to build our own institutions, things like that, it requires resources. So the reason that we don't do every single thing for free, we give excellent pricing, we give money back guarantees, all of that stuff. But the reason we can't do everything for free is because you can't build off of free. You can't make a sandwich out of air. So in order for us to build, we're basically turning to the Black community and asking for a basic redirect. The basic redirect is, look, you have 1.3 trillion in your community that you're spending. We just want you to give us our little piece so that we can build off of that little piece. You ain't got to give us as much as you're giving white people, because we know that Black people are very addicted to spending money with white businesses and then demanding free stuff from Black businesses. That's why Black businesses can't survive. But I really want to challenge you to understand that a person can care about the Black community and still have a fair price on their product, right? So ultimately, and the other thing that we do also is, in the Black Business School, we actually have free stuff. So for example, Black Movie Night, even though our Zoom account is not free, we have to pay thousands of dollars to use our Zoom account, because you have to pay extra to have a big account where a lot of people can come in. But that's totally free of charge. You don't have to pay any money to come watch the movie with us. But then if you say, hey, Doc, I want you to give me some expertise on how to invest in the stock market. Well, some stuff we can do for free, but then there's a point where, after we've invested in you, we turn and say, okay, we need you to invest in us. We're not interested in charity. We can't, we'll do a little charity. Don't get me wrong, but charity is not a sustainable business model. We're not going to treat the Black community like a charity case. If Black folks are spending money with white folks, then we expect Black folks to spend money with Black folks. Don't go, and I need you guys to really kind of internalize this and take that to, the Negroes that don't get it. Like, look, they're talking about, well, it should be free. If he's really helping the Black community, it should be free. Well, then just ask them, like, did you spend any money with white people this week? Like, if you spent any money with white people this week, why are you asking Black businesses to give you free stuff? You're abusing Black businesses, and that's why the businesses die. Okay, so and that's something that you may have heard from me before. That's something I repeat periodically, just so people understand what the mindset is, in case you want to know. And I also mention this because I need your help as well. When you see somebody make a comment like that, oh, well, it's the coronavirus. He should be doing all this for free. He should be giving this away for free. Just mention the fact, number one, there's usually a discount or something where I say, hey, here's a special discount. We're cutting the price. We'll work with you, right? We can work with your budget. Number two, we give away lots of free stuff. That's why a lot of people love me, is because I give away so much free stuff. So you can mention that. The third thing you can mention is that a Black business cannot pay their Black team members off for free. And then four, challenge their asses, excuse my French, but challenge them and kind of say, well, did you spend any money with white businesses? Why would you spend money with white folks and then get mad when Black folks have a price, but you didn't go complain to the white man when he charged you money for those shoes, or when Disney charged you money to see the Black Panther, right? Is this more valuable? I can tell you what I teach you and what we talk about is far more valuable than going to see the Black Panther. But Black folks gave $1 billion to Disney. Can you imagine? Let me just process this for a moment. Can you imagine what somebody like me, I'm not talking about, this ain't about me. This is not me. I'm going to use that word me, but I'm not using it in a self-absorbed kind of way. But can you imagine what somebody like me would do if I had $1 billion in the bank that we could use to build these industries we're building? I mean, think about what somebody like me, I'm not a dumb Negro. I'm not some guy that's going to be wearing Gucci and getting diamond grills and doing all these stupid things rappers do. But can you imagine if I had $1 billion in capital, that just one fraction of that 1.3 trillion that we give away to white people every year? it would be insane. I could literally flip the whole world on his head because I know the solutions. I know the solutions for Black people. Most of them I know. The educational solution, it's all up here. I just don't have the resources all the time to build it. I build what I can, right? I build off digital technology. We reach 1 million people a week. We don't have any corporate sponsors. We don't get any government funding. And we reject all of that because we don't want white folks telling us what to do. We don't want oppressors trying to control how we build all of this, because that's why we're so screwed up in the first place. So I quarantine the business from the very beginning, because in my mind, my coronavirus is basically white folks' money. Like, seriously, most of that money, it doesn't mean I couldn't consider possibly partnering with someone who's white, but I haven't met a lot of white folks that I really trust with this delicate and important mission. I just haven't, So, I will just say to you at the end of the day, if you want to know the things that I think about, I obsess about, that I get frustrated about, is I get really frustrated when I see, Floyd Mayweather on Instagram talking about how he just spent $5 million on a European car. I literally look at that and I think, man, do you know how many thousands of children I could have educated with that $5 million? I could have built a couple of buildings with that and literally built a school that's going to last for the next 300 years. And yo ass, I'm not going to cuss. I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad. I need to stop. I need to go to bed because I'm getting angry the more I think about it. But, so if you want to know why we're not moving ahead, it's because our mindset is so backward and so screwed up. And so that's one of the reasons why I want us to take over 2 industries, at least: education and entertainment. If we control the entertainment that Black people consume, which is why we're building a new Black Hollywood, making our own movie that's going on, this negativity, if you want to call it. Like, you can shift so much of that, because a lot of these people, they behave that way because they just don't know any better. They were trained and indoctrinated into a way of thinking that led them to see the world in the way that they do, and so my argument is that it's going to be a fight, but I think we can win the fight. And in fact, we're making so much progress. I mean, man, I'm telling you, I mean, we're reaching, I see the numbers. I see how many people we're reaching. I go out into the streets. I go to countries I've never been to, and I'm walking down the street and people will grab me off the street and say, I'm talking about cities I've never been to. I don't even know my way around. And they're like, oh, Dr. Boyce, I started investing because of you. I'm in the stock market. And I love that because, I'm hearing these amazing stories of transformations that are happening in people's lives. And I'm processing the story. I listen to you when you talk to me and you meet me. I'm going to listen to you really carefully. When you tell me about your kids, I'm going to say, well, how old are your kids? And I'm going to want to know, like, what are you teaching them? How are you teaching them? What are you doing? Because I can process all of that in terms of what the long-term impact is going to be. So I wouldn't call myself any kind of visionary or anything like that. I would leave it to other people to decide what label they want to put on me. But I do have vision. And vision means I don't just see 2020 for what it is. I'm looking at 2020 100 years in the future. I'm looking back. Like, I believe that we are the Madam C.J. Walkers of our generation. We are the W.E.B. Du Boises of our generation. We are the Marcus Garveys. We are the Booker T's. We are the great leaders of this generation. And I am curious, when I watched the Madam C.J. Walker movie, I was thinking to myself, I said, this is interesting. So all this happened 100 years ago, and here's how we're talking about it now. 100 years from today, how are we going to talk about what happened in this generation? I want this to be the greatest generation in history for Black people. And I think economically, I think we got a fighting chance at that. I mean, I think that we have already done enough right here in this space, on this platform, to make an impact in Black history that's going to have a ripple effect that goes for the next 300-400 years. Already, I could die tomorrow, and I would go to my grave knowing that there's no way that all this can die. When you open the door of knowledge and freedom and information and understanding, that door doesn't shut easily. In fact, I would be willing to bet you that within 30, 40 years, if I get another 30 years on this planet and I'm allowed to continue to do what I do every day, I am willing to bet you that by the time I'm gone, Black people will have a higher rate of investment than white people, meaning that we'll have a higher rate of stock market participation than white people. We'll have a higher percentage of our community that actually wants to own a home than white people. Maybe it's hard to do because it does require capital, right? So we can't forget that, right? But we're going to have a higher rate of entrepreneurship because you can see it. You can see it all around you. You look at, you watch shows like The Breakfast Club and you listen to some of the entertainers talk, And or the way we got out. I don't know if I mentioned to you guys, but Dr. Claude Anderson. It was strategic. I wanted Dr. Claude Anderson on the Breakfast Club, and I played a part in getting 3 people on the Breakfast Club that I really wanted on there. That I was really happy about. One was Louis Farrakhan. The other one was Tariq Nasheed, because I love what he did with Hidden Colors. I have a lot of respect for that. The other one was Dr. Claude Anderson. And so Dr. Anderson did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He went in there and he introduced the world of Powernomics, and it blew up. 2.5-3 million people watched that video. And so later on, about 2 weeks later, I'm talking to Dr. Anderson, and he told me that Charlemagne the God and Tiffany Haddish got on a private jet and flew down to his house. I said, they came to your house? Because he didn't know who Tiffany Haddish was. He's like, there's a lady named Radish or Shadish. I said, you mean Haddish? He said, yeah, that's it. That's her name. And I said, yeah. I said, she's kind of famous, right? He said, she is? I said, yeah. I said, she's kind of famous like the way Red Fox was back in the day. And he was like, really? I said, yeah, that's a big deal. That Tiffany Haddish came, that her and Charlemagne came to your house. And that to me is awesome because, I think that when you have, a radical commitment to Black education and Black economics, and it becomes kind of the mainstream thing to do, the coolest thing in the world, and it's being, relayed through our entertainment and through our educational process, I think that that's when Black people will truly become the greatest people in the world. I really believe that. It won't be everybody per se, but it's going to be like a strong strand of us. And I just think that this is the power move of a generation, man. So that's what I'm excited about. That's what gets me up every day. If you wonder why every day I'm always sitting here and I'm always going and going, I'm thinking about that. So find, I think, and I encourage you in your own life, find your mission, find your thing that matters to you. And then what happens is when you're fully charged and you're just shining in your purpose and you're just pushing forward toward that, you won't really care about haters. You won't really care about problems or shortcomings and things like that, because that energy that you have for your passion will just override all that. So if you want to know how I ignore any haters that are out there, I see them every now and then. I'll see somebody on social media that's talking crazy or whatever. I just laugh about it because I'm just thinking, or maybe I'll think about it for a second, but I don't have time to think about that because I'm thinking about this, right? So that's my 2 cents. Those are my beliefs. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button before you go. But also, if you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, please share and retweet. Also, Black Movie Night is tomorrow night. You can register at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. Also, if you'd like to learn more about stock market investing, learn what stock picks I'm making, all that good stuff, you can go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com, THE. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. At the very bottom, there's a section called What Dr. Boyce is Buying, and that's when I go through the things that I'm buying, and I just let you guys know in case you want to take a look at that. So take care, guys. I'm out of here. Have a good day, and I love you. See you soon. Peace.